Here we are.
Here we
Hello,
are.
ladies. Welcome
Hello.
back. Another week of Frasier.
Love it.
Yes, we're up to episode 14.
Yes.
So exciting. We're past the halfway mark in season 1 now.
That's
We
right.
are.
Right. We know everybody now. Everybody is very familiar to us. So let the good times roll.
Exactly. Simone, this is your dream scenario. Frasier gets a date
Oh my
option
gosh.
this episode.
Absolutely. Oh, I loved it. I loved it. I was like, this is my fantasy come true. I would even bet on I would auction for, what's the word? Bid. There it is. I would bid for a
yeah.
Kelsey. I would bid for a Kelsey 2025. I mean, he still has it.
Yeah.
Silver Fox Frasier.
Yeah.
There you go.
So let's get into it. At KSCL, Bulldog is on the air. Frasier's in the hallway. He tries to get Roz to go into the booth to get his briefcase. Frasier can't do it because Bulldog always puts Frasier on the air and humiliates him. Roz refuses to help because the same thing happens to her. Frasier attempts to creep into the booth and is caught by Bulldog, who raps him on the knuckles and puts him on the air and humiliates him by asking a question about two teams that weren't even playing.
So, Doc, who's your pick for the Giants-Saints game this weekend?
The Giants.
You're kidding.
The Saints.
You're kidding.
Well, somebody has to win.
Yeah, they would if the Giants and Saints were playing this weekend.
Yes, that was very funny indeed. I wish you'd played it on my show. Deserves to be heard by a much larger audience.
Ooh, bird. Got him.
I love it.
Yeah, that one was good. Did you notice how Bulldog, he moved Frasier's briefcase or attaché? Technically, it's an attaché. Did he move his attaché from one side to the other while Frasier's trying to reach it? I thought it was so funny. That was like a good, move there because it forced him to have to get up. It was really clever.
Yeah.
Their is so cute and just funny.
Mm-hmm.
It's like brotherly, but Bulldog is clearly the more obnoxious brother.
Mm-hmm. Yes, he is.
At Frasier's apartment, Niles has just arrived. He's just put Maris on a train to Chicago and has brought champagne. Frasier arrives home. Daphne shows him Niles brought champagne, and Frasier correctly deduces that Maris has left for Chicago. Daphne asks why Maris only takes the train, and Niles explains that Maris had a harrowing incident on a plane. She was bumped from first class. I love this.
Yeah.
Her definition of harrowing.
Yeah.
Right? But you know what, though? Nowadays with flying, I would be traumatized if I was in first class and I got bumped out because flying is not fun. So,
well, yeah, if you paid that much for first class, that's not cheap.
Yes.
But Maris once again proves to be delicate.
I'm trying to imagine Maris in economy.
Exactly. I'm scared for her. I would be so scared for her. Can you imagine her being like smushed between two people? Oh my god, it would be hilarious.
I've seen Maris. She's more of like an in-cabin pet.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I like how Niles has brought champagne over.
Oh yeah. I wish I got a glance at the bottle.
Martin asks Frasier for a favour. A friend from the force is holding a charity auction for Widows and Orphans Fund and was trying to get some local celebrities to sign up. Frasier says he'll be happy to help. Great, so you ask Bulldog tomorrow? Frasier is unimpressed. Martin starts to backpedal.
So
Frasier
good.
relents and agrees to do it, and he'll ask Bulldog as well.
I love the tension between Frasier wanting desperately to be a local celebrity and also wanting not to be a local celebrity.
But in reality, he is a local celebrity because for the last 13 episodes, whenever he introduces himself, everyone says, "Oh, you're the guy from the radio." So he is a celebrity.
Yeah.
He is, but he sometimes rejects it, and I think
Yes.
the tension and things that he's feeling around the date auction are kind of part and parcel with that.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. But it's also funny too. I like that dynamic of Marty kind of keeping him humble because, and I'm sure, and I've heard of other celebrities when they go like on nighttime TV and they talk about how like some of their relatives just treat them like they're just like their mom would just treat them just like anybody else, like even if they're just major celebrity. And I think it's a good thing to kind of keep you grounded. So.
Sure. It makes for great comedy.
Definitely.
Daphne muses how it would be fun to pick a man to do a bidding and fulfill her every desire.
A bachelor auction. I've always thought it would be fun to pick a man off the block to do my bidding and fulfill my every desire. Dr. Crane?
I'd love to. I mean,
Flustered, he changes the subject. What if no one bids on Frasier and he's left standing there in silence?
Frasier? I was just thinking, what if no one bids? What if you're left standing there with flop sweat trickling down your back amidst a great gaping silence?
It'll never happen, Niles.
Thank you, Dad.
Yeah, we got a band.
Such a mean comment, but also delivered hilariously. Like, you can't even get offended at that.
I feel like there's not enough Niles in this episode, but there's no real
There's
room
really
for him.
not.
No, you're right. But there was a lot of men in general in this episode. I found it to be heavy with the testosterone.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I do also think this is, I mean, keep in mind, we're still in season 1. The showrunners really hadn't yet predicted that Niles was going to be such a fan favorite. So it makes a
So
lot of sense
true.
that in the season 1 episodes, they weren't going to just rewrite them and refilm them,
True.
just because audiences like
Mm.
Niles. So I think it's just kind of a function of not knowing what was going to happen with that.
And quite frankly,
Yeah.
I don't think Niles would ever reduce himself to such vulgar behavior being auctioned.
That's true.
Maybe if Daphne was bidding.
Yes, well, exactly. Which
That's a pro bono.
and she did end up doing. So yeah, you're right. Okay.
Yeah. Would you guys go to a bachelor auction?
Definitely.
No.
With cash. I would show up with cash.
Oh man. I go to a wine auction.
Oh, see, now I wouldn't. I wouldn't. But the celebrity, definitely.
That's so funny.
And I even have like my price point. Like if it was like Will Ferrell, maybe $500. But
Okay.
Timothy Chalamet, maybe like 1,000. I don't know.
This is learning so much about your taste, but I'm so confused at the same time.
At a bachelor auction, Frasier and Bulldog are listening to the screams of the audience. Frasier comments the estrogen levels are off the charts, which Bulldog thinks is great. He believes deep down that both men and women want the same thing. Frasier says he doesn't put out, and his date gets dinner and a handshake at the door. Bulldog has a different evening planned, including a stretch limo, Sonic's tickets, and his buns of steel. He invites Frasier to feel them, who declines.
Amazing.
No, I would do Bulldog's date. I think that's actually an appropriate date because it's less like intimate. So I actually would do that one. And I wouldn't mind riding in a limo and drinking champagne with a cutie. Maybe not Bulldog, but a cutie. Yeah, I'd do it.
Bulldog. I think the little preview we see it later, like, I mean, that sounds like a fun hang.
Yeah, I think it's a fun one.
Yeah.
Frasier's date idea would be like date number 4, maybe.
Yeah, it's too personal for something that's public and casual, I guess.
Yeah, definitely.
Frasier goes all out. Like, I think later on we see that he rents like a restaurant trolley. Yeah.
I mean, good on him for following through with the experience, but
Mm-hmm.
unnecessary.
I'm assuming he got it catered. I can't imagine him cooking half the stuff he says he's serving. So
That's a really
Exactly.
good question.
I
Yeah,
agree.
I think he knows enough to know that he likes that food, but yeah, he's not making that himself.
no.
Mm-hmm.
Martin enters and Frasier confesses he's a little nervous. Martin tells him to relax. He then spots TJ Smith, a linebacker for the Seahawks, call the enforcer because he's put 2 quarterbacks in the hospital this season. Martin goes to introduce himself when TJ's number is called.
Number 19?
Please don't make me go out there.
You'll be fine. Now don't worry. Just going out there and have a good time. They're gonna have him for breakfast.
Amazing. You know this is set up for good.
Mm-hmm.
Time passes. TJ stumbles back in, a broken man. Bulldog asks how it was, and TJ says he's the one who bought him had a crazed look in her eye. Roz enters, asking where she pays.
Amazing.
And I loved her outfit, that tan with the leather jacket. Yes, Roz, you go, girl.
Oh yeah, I mean, like it's funny because like Roz obviously is so beautiful that it's just like, how's this guy mad? But I guess it's the crazy eyes that she's got there.
Yeah.
So.
It's the crazy eyes. Yes, she looks like she is not going to take any hostages. Let's go.
Frasier's number is called. Time passes. The announcer declares the winner to be a determined lady who paid $500. Frasier re-enters the back room.
Not too bad. I mean, like for a radio host who does psychotherapy, I mean, good on him.
Well, I looked up the value of that. So in today's dollars, that would be $1,092.06.
Would Kelsey Grammer or would Frasier get a little over $1,000 from you, Simone?
Yeah, I definitely would pay way more than that. Definitely 3,000 top. 3,000.
Okay.
Yeah.
Big money biz.
But he has to do the Frasier voice the whole date.
I get it.
Yeah. Live for fantasy.
Yes.
Frasier re-enters the back room.
So, Doc, who bought you?
I have no idea. The last thing I remember is someone shouting out, "Shake your money maker."
Bulldog's number is called and he excitedly exits. A beautiful woman enters. This is Christina Harper, the woman who just bought Frasier. Frasier is pleasantly surprised. Frasier comments that $500 is a lot of money to spend, and Christina casually drops that she's a model. She asks if Friday works, and Frasier gives his address, Elliott Bay Towers, on the counterbalance. He gives his address
So
this way a
fancy.
lot.
Yes, he does.
He loves to say it that way.
Yes,
Yeah.
he does.
Christina leaves, and Bulldog re-enters, nearly running into her. Frasier happily tells Bulldog that's his new owner.
I love that.
I do too.
It was so cute the way he said it. He was so proud of
That's
himself.
my owner.
That's my new owner.
He notices that Bulldog is back quick. Bulldog says it's because he was one of the last guys out there, but someone did bid on him. Daphne enters in a state of shock.
Oh my God, Daphne, why?
Things were slowing down, so your father asked me to shill. I opened at 100. Who knew that would be the only bid?
She opened with $100. Maybe she opened too high.
Now, $100. Oh, poor Bulldog. $100 then is $218.41 now. Oh, poor Bulldog. Poor
Too
guy.
shabby.
I guess. Poor guy.
Well, I guess Daphne gets the stretch limo with the moonroof.
That's not a bad
Not
deal.
bad.
Especially at the
Not
price
bad.
point.
Exactly. Not bad at all.
And as we see later, she does have a good time on the date.
She does.
A little
My
too
kind
good
of
a time.
woman. Yeah.
Not so much about the date, but the time.
Friday evening, Frasier wheels out a restaurant cart from the kitchen to the dining table. Doorbell rings. It's Christina. She apologizes for being late and says she got a last-minute call for a job. Frasier thinks she means she just came from a job, but turns out she's going to one now. Christina says her friend Sandy was also called into the same job, and Sandy was supposed to be looking after her daughter. Frasier looks into the hallway and sees a girl of about 12 standing there. He realizes that Christina wants him to babysit. He starts to decline when he realizes he'll make a ton of points for helping out. He agrees.
I think it's interesting that he's concerned with winning points with someone who bought his date at an auction. Like, I something here is really telling me that Frasier is taking this way too seriously.
Yeah.
I think so.
I mean, probably because she's a model.
Yeah, he's infatuated. I feel like his plan of a handshake at the door has gone out the window already.
Oh, definitely.
Christina introduces her daughter Renata, then leaves. Making small talk, Frasier comments on Renata's name having a poetic romantic significance when Renata interrupts, asking to use Frasier's phone.
This is such a good diffusion for Frasier being Frasier, because this kid's like, I don't care. I don't have time for this.
That young lady was hitting her marks because she was annoying in such the most authentic way. I wanted to smack her upside the head with a pillow. She was so annoying.
Real.
Yeah.
Even down to being on the telephone. I remember back in the 90s being a kid, on the phone talking to your friends and stuff like that. I mean, that's what you did. So
time passes. Renata is on the couch on the phone talking in a hip young vernacular.
Yeah, I'm glad you mentioned that because there was actually a lot of that. Even Frasier was saying it towards the end of the episode, but there was No way. And what was the other one? Don't make me hurl. Like it was so
Very 90s, very
That's so fresh.
preteen.
Shake your money maker. That was another one. It was like a time capsule.
Mhm.
Gets a call for Frasier on another line and hangs up on them. Frasier is outraged, wanting to know who that was. Renata doesn't know. She gets another call, and Frasier takes this one, only for the call to be for Renata. Fed up, Frasier hangs up the phone.
Can't get in the way.
He's angry that Renata has been on the phone for the last hour and a half and barely said anything to Frasier. Renata is upset her mother left her with a complete stranger.
Facts. She's
Yeah.
stating facts though. Like I would be upset too.
It's weird that Frasier cares. I mean, like, this is the easiest babysitting ever. Just let her be
Mhm.
on the phone and ignore her.
Yeah.
Exactly. Like you could just be reading a book. Where's that book you were trying to read? Space Quest.
Yeah, I don't blame Renata just being because like she makes a point. She says that Frasier could be a perv or something, and she's not
Yep.
wrong.
Yeah, exactly. She's totally right about that.
I mean, this is pretty trash circumstances for her, but I do love kind of how the turn happens here. Like, it is impeccable.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, Frasier sympathizes but is in charge of Renata for the evening. He offers her some food from a food trolley when Renata asks if he's got raw cookie dough.
Oh, well, look what we have here. Will one tube suffice?
Cool.
Put that in your pipe and smoke it.
I loved how he used a butcher knife with that. He
Yeah.
right down the middle. Perfect.
I mean, that's right about where I would be if someone was like, give me the cookie dough. I'd be like, you know what? My night's going like this too.
Yes.
They exit back into the living room and Frasier says he's a psychiatrist and would be happy to listen to Renata's issues with her mother. Renata is reluctant but starts to open up, saying her mother lies about her age. She's been 9 for the past 3 years. Frasier is
Oh,
listening.
here we go.
Yeah, and Renata continues. And when Frasier asks what her father thinks about all this, Renata says he's always on the road with Whitesnake, his new wife.
Amazing.
Why do you think Renata's mad at her mom, though? I don't understand.
Because she's 9.
12.
Or 12. Is she 12 or 9? I don't remember.
12.
Yeah.
12.
12.
Yeah. She's 9 for
I
the
don't
third
remember
time.
being
That's right.
angry at my parents at 12. At 12, I really was in my own world. I don't remember being that angry.
Oh, I don't know. I think 12-year-olds are drama.
Are they? Maybe. I can't remember.
Because they're basically almost teenagers, but they can't drive or go anywhere.
Yeah.
So
I
they
do
just have
remember
all this
being,
like pent up
yeah.
stress.
Yeah, that is true. You're right. And she and the mother does kind of say towards the end, like she was just upset because I wouldn't let her stay home alone by herself. And I do remember being at 12, you do want to have a little bit of independence then. Yeah, okay. But I wouldn't trash talk my mother to a complete stranger. Every family's
Yeah,
different.
she takes it to kind of a diabolical level here, but
She does.
but the level of drama just seems completely age appropriate.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah. So true. You're right about that.
I wonder if there's any truth to it. Like, I wonder if
Right.
Christina is a bit of a diet freak because she is a model.
Yeah, I think there's the seeds of truth, but obviously, as we learned at the end of the episode, some of it's completely thin.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
In the back of a limo, Bulldog and Daphne are leaving the Sonics game. Daphne is more than a little tipsy by this point, commenting that the champagne has gone to her head. Daphne drunkenly prattles on, insulting Bulldog a couple of times.
I still can't get over those players. They're positively gigantic. Not that being tall is the only measure of a man. But it's a bloody good one. Oh dear, I just insulted you, didn't I? Sorry. Oh well, you can take it. You're a tough little nut.
She insults his height.
Yeah, she does. I found it funny. Yeah.
I looked it up. Dan Butler, who plays Bulldog, he's 5'7".
Oh yeah,
That's tall. Well, I'm 5'2", so I mean, I guess that's short for a man. Is that short for a man? Probably.
That's short for a man.
Yeah.
short average. I'm not sure.
Yeah.
I'm 5'0", so I have no good frame of reference.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I'm 5'10".
Are you really?
Yeah, I'm quite tall.
Oh wow, you're a tall one.
You're the tall one of us for sure.
Yeah, you are.
Yeah, I'm about the same height as Daphne.
Wow.
Wait, Daphne's 5'10"?
Yeah.
Really?
No perception of
Well,
height.
she's
I thought she was like
5'.
5'4".
Right,
Well,
because she
I guess
looks.
I'm more technically 5'9.5". I round up, and I think
Well, you can
Daphne's
round
about
up.
the
That's
same height.
fine.
So I'm
Wait,
about the
how
same
tall
height
are
as
the other
Daphne.
men in how tall are the other men in the cast? Like I
David Hyde Pierce is the same height as me,
Mm.
okay. And
and
Kelsey Grammer's how tall?
he's 6'1".
Mm.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So it's relative. The 5'10" looks less tall because Kelsey's over 6 feet. Okay.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
Wow,
but
I
they're a
clocked
tall
Daphne for
cast.
like 5'4", maybe 5'6". That's so
Mm-hmm.
funny.
No, she's a tall woman.
Maybe that's why she felt so like ballsy in the limo because she's tall, she's can handle
Taller
her
than
own.
Bulldog.
Yeah, exactly.
Mm-hmm.
Wait, how tall is Roz? In my head, Roz is like 4 or 5 inches taller than Daphne. Am I wrong?
Yeah, good.
Rose is shorter than Daphne. She's 1.7 meters tall, which is 5'5".
Wow.
This is blowing my mind. I don't
Yeah.
know why. Even like it's I see it with my eyes, and yet Daphne does not read that tall on screen.
No. Now I really feel short.
I know, same.
So I'm 5'9". I think I said I'm 5'10", but I was sort of rounding up.
Mm-hmm.
Laura, you are tall enough to be in the Frasier cast. Simone and I are
You
not tall
are.
enough to ride
Yeah.
that ride.
We're just the extras in the back.
We could be cast as children. I'm just kidding.
Yes.
Quick, let's lie about our backstory.
A horn blaring outside annoys Daphne, and she rolls down her window and starts shouting at the driver. Bulldog starts to freak out, and Daphne insults the other driver, causing him to get out of his car and pull Bulldog out of the limo. Traffic starts moving, and the limo starts to drive away without Bulldog.
I love the physical comedy in
Yeah.
Oh
that
yeah.
part because they shut the windows, they lock the doors, you think that they're good, and then the door opens on the other side.
Yeah.
And then
Amazing.
he gets pulled sideways. I love it.
It's so good. This show really does, whenever there's like an enclosed space, they make full use of it.
Yes,
Yeah.
they do. Yes, they do. Yeah, they do.
Back at Frasier's apartment, they're both eating cookie dough. The doorbell rings, and Frasier mentions that it must be her fabulousness, using Renata's nickname for Christina.
Amazing. This kid is working him over. Actually, this is a recurring theme in season 1. Frasier gets handled by like everybody.
Yeah.
Yeah. To be such a smart man, right?
He's smart and he thinks he's self-aware, but like he falls for a lot.
Yeah,
He
he's a little
does.
naive.
Well, he doesn't have any sort of reason not to believe Renata. He's just believing what she's saying.
Yeah, it's just funny because given his like kind of inflated sense of his own intellect, you think he would, and especially because he's a psychotherapist. I mean, like you would think he would clock something as untrue way sooner.
Mm-hmm.
Frasier asks if Renata wants to take the cookie dough with her, and she says she better not because of strict weight monitoring.
See, that's where it starts to really get into like wild territory. Because like if this all were true, it's just like it's not just that the mom who's a model has a diet. Now she's putting it on the kid.
Mm-hmm.
No offense to Renata, but she doesn't look like she's under any strict weight monitoring. Honestly.
Exactly. Yeah.
She looks like a healthy sized kid.
But you know what? Kids do
Okay.
exaggerate because my son will say that I starve him when all I tell him is you can't have seconds. So like
Yeah.
and I had to explain to him, I'm like, do you know the definition of starve, honey? Because it's not what you think it is. There's hungry and then there's starving, and you're actually neither of those. So go sit down.
Frasier answers the door, and Christina kisses her daughter hello and tells Renata that Sandy is waiting in the car. Renata leaves, and Christina is ready to salvage the evening. Frasier turns her down, saying that he fell for her physical beauty, but after learning more about her, is no longer interested.
This would hit so much harder in 2 other circumstances. One, obviously, if he had not just been lied to, and 2, if this had not been a date auction. Like if he were authentically pursuing this woman, like the "oh I fell for your beauty" thing would ring so much better. But it's so hilarious. She literally paid for that evening of his time. Like, what is he doing?
He obviously thinks this is the start of something wonderful.
He did.
Hopeless romantic Frasier Crane.
Yeah. Frasier starts bringing up the incidents that Renata had mentioned to him, and Christina reveals that they were lies. Frasier realizes his mistake and wonders why Renata would lie. Christina says it's because Renata was mad at her for not letting her stay at home alone.
Womp womp.
Frasier apologizes, but Christina still leaves, but not before revealing she only has one kidney. Guess who has the other?
That's like the nail in the coffin of this little punchline here.
Is it a breach of Frasier's ethics to tell Christina what Renata told him in confidence?
Well, she's not
Well, she's
really
not
his
his
patient.
client.
Yeah.
Yeah, not his patient.
And,
Yeah.
and in theory, he tells a radio audience all kinds of things, and so do his guests. So it's a gray area. I mean, like, yeah, if she'd actually, formally become his patient, it would be totally different, and there'd be like, informed consent procedures and stuff.
But even though Frasier dropped the ball, I will give him credit for handling that situation because in preparation for this episode, I researched instances where women have brought their children on first dates.
Oh my.
And those men did not handle it like Frasier.
Right.
One was a prank, one was like a prank, but the other two were for real. And these men, like one man went to the bathroom and he recorded himself. And he was just like, I can't believe this woman just bought her kids. She bought her 3 kids. She expects me to pay. Like he was like having a panic attack.
Yeah, I mean, obviously bad reaction, but like Frasier kind of overcompensated in the opposite direction, like full gullible, bought hook, line, and sinker what this child was lying to him about, like just very, I don't know, like it takes people pleaser to a whole other level.
Yeah, if anything, I would have just, if I was Frasier, I would have just been like, yeah, I'm not gonna, this is like red flag city. You've got boundary issues, child issues. No, thank you. I would have just not been interested in pursuing a relationship with her.
Mm.
I think there's a little bit of his ego at play here. Okay, there's no way that under the circumstances, which like on its face, right? He's being a babysitter right now. There's no way that like anything but his own ego is having him offer to, basically do therapy for her because she didn't ask for it. She could have just stayed on the phone all night, eaten her cookie dough, and gone home. He wanted to be like, look at me, I'm Dr. Frasier Crane about it.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, he would have been better off if he just let her sit on the phone all night.
Yep.
That was his mistake.
None the wiser.
He
would have probably still had a shot with the mom.
That's right. Frasier.
Time passes and Frasier's sitting on the central column eating raw cookie dough. He shares it with Eddie.
Amazing.
So I made a comment a couple of episodes ago about how David Hyde Pierce like shared a glass with Eddie and how that was really sort of like
gross.
Good acting. It's gross, but it's good acting that they sacrifice like the grossness just for the punchline. And Kelsey does the same thing here.
Yeah,
because it's clear that Eddie has licked all over that cookie dough and then he puts it back in his mouth.
I think he didn't do that though. He could have just let him have it. Honestly, I think he could have just let Eddie have it.
Though, I think there's two ways to look at this. One of it is like it's kind of an olive branch to Eddie because we know how Frasier feels about Eddie, but I'm choosing a different interpretation. I think this is just Frasier being desperate and kind of low. Like he just got completely embarrassed. I think he's just like, you know what? This is meaningless. The dog can eat the cookie dough. Like he's just at that place, and he like it's more powerful than his usual kind of feelings towards Eddie. He's just like, no, just sad cookie dough moment.
That is true. And when you're sad, sometimes you do things that you wouldn't otherwise. So we'll let his sadness be the driver of that moment.
He's allowed to be sad. It's just maybe not.
He's allowed to be sad, yes. Even though it was technically his own fault.
Right.
Martin enters and asks what happened. Frasier says that she left. Martin asks why Frasier's still up, and Frasier shares that he's worried that his son will grow up to be a monster when he's 12.
Look, all kids are the same. They start out cute, and then somewhere along the way, they get into that obnoxious know-it-all stage, and you think they'll never grow out of it.
But eventually they do.
I'm still hoping.
Oh, that one was true. I felt that piece of advice. Thank you, Marty, because I feel it. I'm going through it now with mine.
Phone rings and Frasier answers. It's Daphne. Frasier excitedly responds, saying no way, the same way Renata was earlier.
Amazing.
That was pretty funny.
End credits. Frasier and Martin have joined Daphne in the limo. Frasier and Martin both have a glass of champagne, while Daphne has a glass of seltzer.
At least she's having some water.
Yeah, gotta hydrate after all that champagne.
Her date turned out pretty good. She ended up with a limo all to herself.
Yes. And kudos to her for sharing, because I wouldn't have shared. I would have just told the driver, keep going.
Oh yeah. But isn't it kind of funny that both Frasier and Bulldog ultimately got very similar outcomes? They both kind of were evicted from their date experience in a completely different way, but
Yes.
nonetheless, the date auction did not pan out as expected.
It did not. Mm-mm. But we know who probably did have a good time. Roz.
Roz.
Roz probably had gotten her money's worth, believe me.
Yeah. I'm just looking back at my notes, and there's one here I forgot to mention, which is Frasier's little check in the mirror before opening the door to Christina. I love how he just opens up the bathroom door and he goes in there and he checks himself.
Yes, and then
Then
he
he
says,
does the door shut.
and then he says, "Buona notte." And I said, "Oh my gosh, Frasier." I mean, yes, but oh my gosh,
amazing.
He was in full date mode.
He really was.
This wasn't him just like an obligation date because they won the auction.
No,
This
he
is
was.
him really
Yeah,
putting it on because he
he
thinks
put
he has
in
a
thought.
chance.
Yeah,
Exactly.
yeah. Good on him, but A for effort.
A for effort. Good committing to the bit.
Yes. The only person who had a good time is Eddie.
And
Eddie got
gets a cookie dough out of it. Good for him.
Yeah, he got cookie dough and Cheetos, so
Yeah.
he's good.
He got a lot of snacks.
Yeah. So that was episode 14. What's the name of this one?
It is Can't Buy Me Love.
Can't Buy Me Love. Okay. Yeah, it fits. It fits.
Wait, isn't that this one? I thought the next one was episode 15.
No, this one. Yeah, I wanted to know what this one was. Can't Buy Me Love.
Apparently, I'm just as discombobulated. Sorry, the next one is 15.
Yeah. We are making our way.
We sure are.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. And it still hits. I mean, the episodes still carry. I mean, they're very funny.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's equally balanced. I love the A stories and the B stories. It's good. I love it. It's really great.
It is.
Yeah.
I also really love how, even though we're still in season 1, the cast is already very gelled. Their relationships, their dynamics are just already in a great form. It's like, I don't know, we just get welcomed into their lives instead of having to watch them evolve with each other.
Yeah.
Yeah, so next week we've got episode 15. You Can't Tell a Crook by His Cover.
All right.
Lots of Niles in that episode.
All right. Somebody's going to be happy about that.
There we go.
Oh, well, thank you for listening and tuning in, you guys. We love you.
Yeah, we love it.
Yeah. We'll catch you next time.
Until next time. Yep. Bye.
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 But I don't know what to do with those tossed salads and scrambled eggs. They're calling again.